Hi, everybody. My name is Renee Davis, and I am the lactation consultant with the Tuff breast pump company. I am really glad to be here. I just did the booth, and we had such a nice time. It was so great. Hello, everybody who's joining. It was so great to chat with everybody. I tell you what, this is a great event. And I'm back. So I have several things to discuss with you today. The topic of this conversation is I should log out of my email so I won't hear those sounds. So the topic of today's session is how to pick the best breast pump for you. Know that there's not one best breast pump. Okay, I think there's a whole lot of really good pumps out on the market. And, since insurance started providing breast pumps, breast pump manufacturers have upped their game, which they should have. Hello, Orlando, Florida. My son is active duty Coast Guard, and he's going to be stationed down there soon. So I'll come visit you. So today we're going to talk about how to pick the best one for you. Not all breasts are the same, even on the same woman. Breasts, if you have two exactly the same, perfectly similar breasts, you're the exception to the rule. If your breasts are a little bit different size, a little bit different shape, if your areolas and your nipple shields your areola and your nipples are a little bit cockeyed, that's normal. Two different size nipples is normal. So embrace yourself and be thankful for all your parts. So Tuff is a great company. I've worked with them for about 2 years now, and I can say that they truly care about the families that they are serving. They have been around for quite a while. They have been producing pumps for other companies for a while, like insurance companies, and they make all these pumps and they slap their name on them. It's called OEMing. So the last couple of years, they decided to put together a team and really bust out the Tuff brand, because parenting is tough, but parents are tougher. So we're Team Tuff. I like that. So Tuff also does other baby products. That's where the Tuff comes from, is that we want things to be durable and last a long time. And it was really nice to have people at the booth. It was so much fun. I'm going to do that again. So I am a private practice lactation consultant. I started out as a breastfeeding peer counselor. Actually, I started out as a mom of 4, nursing my babies, some of them better than others, and I needed help and couldn't find it. So I became a peer counselor, and then I became a lactation consultant. Now I'm here. So I'm so glad that you like the name. So what we're going to go over today is this, okay? I'm going to run down the list that I have on my little thing over here. Single versus multi-user, manual versus electric, single versus double, open versus closed system, suction level, battery, like AA batteries or rechargeable, the size of the pump, expected motor life, warranty, flange size options, and customer support. So I get why, Amber just said she's so confused. There are so many options. So you just need to take all of these things into consideration. I would get a list, and I would say, I need this and this and this and this. And then when you go look for them, make sure the pump brand has the things that you need. So, of course, I'm coming from the angle of Tuff because that's the company that I represent. But I know that moms have different ways that they're getting pumps. Somebody might be getting their breast pump from their insurance company. Some people get them from Wix, some purchase them. So oftentimes list of pumps that they have to choose from, or the company provides one single pump. And so whatever that pump is, I encourage you not to listen to other people that say, oh, that's a great pump, or, ooh, that pump was terrible. Give it a chance, give it a try. If you're confused about how to use it, get a hold of the company. And as far as it being recorded, I think so. I'm not sure. So get a hold of the company, of the customer service of whatever brand pump that you're using, and get on their YouTube page, watch how to use it. because so many pumps are really great pumps. And if you don't have the choice of a different one, make the one that you have work well for you and optimize all of that. So yes, I will answer questions. I've got a list. So if I go out of order, we're closed system. We don't have any thoughts of ever being an open system. So single versus multi-user. Okay, everybody talks about hospital grade. Realize that breast pumps are FDA regulated medical devices. Okay, so there's no term hospital grade that the FDA regulates. Okay, so we do not define ours as hospital grade or not, or any other term other than what the FDA labels, because we are a medical device. So we have single users and multi-users. Okay, some people think that means open system and closed system, and it kind of used to. It doesn't mean that anymore. Okay, so it just means what the FDA has approved this device for. Okay, so all of ours are closed system. But when you think of hospital grade, sometimes people think of the one that you rent from the hospital or one that you rent from the lactation consultant. And oftentimes they have higher suction levels of about 250, 270, something like that. But these days, lots of pumps out on the market have those suction levels. So don't think that you're getting a worse product just because you're not renting it from the hospital. And with insurance companies providing pumps more these days. Hey, St. Louis, I'm right outside Jeff City, Missouri. So yes, rumbletuff.com. Thanks, everybody. And because you're on my on this little talk today, I'm going to write down here, we have a coupon code that you can use on the website. We heart RT Moms. So this will give you 50% off of everything on the website except the Rumble Tuff Pump and Pals flanges. So everything else is 50% off. We'll talk about open and closed systems very soon. That's really important. So single versus multi-user, that any pump that you receive from your insurance company that's given to you that you get to keep is a single user pump. Okay, a multi-user pump is usually a pump that is rented by a hospital or a WIC office, something like that. The next consideration, so really a single or multi-user, it depends on what you have access to. And oftentimes because suction levels are so much higher these days than they used to be, and because so many pump brands are using closed systems, there's not a huge difference. In motor life, of course, there's not a huge difference between single user and multi-user. But the one you get from your insurance, and if you get to keep the pump that they are giving you from the WIC office, it is a single user pump, and therefore you are not supposed to be giving that or selling that to anybody. It's a medical device and it can't be sold. And I will put the code in there. Oh, thank you, Chelsea. I appreciate that. Anybody want to jump in there and put that We Heart RT Moms in there every once in a while so I don't get distracted? That would be great. Appreciate it. I don't think it has to be in all caps. So anyway, manual versus electric. So I used to really poo-poo manual pumps. Why would you ever want to use a manual pump? Until I talked to a mom that was nursing twins. One of them she was exclusively pumping for, and one of them she was nursing and pumping for when she was away. She used a manual pump beautifully because she was able to hold the handle down. That's the way it worked for her body, and it would spray longer. So it worked great for her. Most moms will benefit from having a double electric breast pump. Why? Because if you are going to be using a manual pump, you're going to be doing this motion over and over and over and over and over, and that can be painful. We have two different kinds of manual pumps. All of our electric pumps come with the manual pump handle and diaphragm so that you can convert your electric pump to a manual pump. So every Rumble Tuff breast pump comes with a manual pump. But if you're going to be pumping on a road trip and you need to be pumping in the car and you don't have a car adapter, that's a great time to use a manual pump. If you need to be pumping if you're going out for the evening or something and you just want to carry a manual pump with you, I think it is fabulous for moms to have both. What's really nice with the Rumble Tuff brand is that you don't have to buy that separately. It will automatically come with your kit. So usually an electric pump is better, usually. But a manual pump is always nice to have. So it is difficult to exclusively pump with a manual pump though, because of the hand motion that goes with that. So if you are going to be considering going back to work or exclusively pumping, I would definitely recommend an electric pump. So single versus double. I just had somebody in the booth that asked if I would recommend a single pump or a double pump. And what I would recommend is not necessarily one or the other. Know that all Rumble Tuff pumps would be really great. Oh, my tubing's right here. All Rumble Tuff pumps come with the tubing like this, okay? So all Rumble Tuff double pumps, electric double pumps. And so you can double pump with it. And if you want a single pump, you can transition like this. And so you can just single pump. I, as a lactation consultant, often recommends that moms single pump sometimes and then double pump other times. Those are in specific circumstances. Don't take that as a general recommendation. But I would always recommend that mom, if she's getting an electric breast pump, get one that you can do both with. Okay, because there are sometimes you're going to want to nurse baby on one side and pump off the other. So you want a single pump. And then if you're at work, you want a double pump because you don't have time to sit there for a half an hour and pump. You're going to want to get that pumping, that pumping session done quickly. Somebody says, if you double pump, do you lose suction? Well, the thing is that our pumps have a suction range of about 50 mmHg to about 270 mmHg double pumping. Okay, so that's like the high range for a hospital grade electric pump. Okay, so when you single pump, you can get higher suction levels than that. So it doesn't compromise how well our pumps work to do double pumping, because our suction levels, we rank at the double pumping suction level and not the single pumping suction level. There are some pumps out on the market that when you do switch to single, that you will see a drop in suction that may or may not affect the amount of milk that you can get out. So how easy are they to clean? I mean, look, here's the kit. You have a ring. I mean, if you are used to using an open system pump, there will be more parts with a closed system pump, ours or anybody else's. So because you have to have part of that pump kit that is a barrier between your kit and your tubing. Okay, so there will be more parts. And I always suggest that if you're going to be pumping when you are at work, or if you're going to be exclusively pumping, you have more than one kit, and you can use that We Heart RT Moms coupon code to get half price off of extra kits if you need. So that's very beneficial. It still does include, you still have to pay shipping, but I'm going to, We Heart RT Moms, I'm sorry. We Heart RT Moms. So that's the 50% off code. So open system, we are right on the same path here. Open system versus closed system. So back in the day, it was that the personal pumps were open system and hospital grade pumps were closed systems. And that's not the same situation anymore. We wised up and realized that moms, even when they are working at home, or working and not in the hospital, they need closed systems too. It will keep milk from getting in your tubing and into your pump, which is just a more sanitary way to be pumping also. And I know that there are a whole bunch of questions over here that I may or may not be able to get to. And if I don't, I'm going to pop into the booth here and there, and we can finish up some of these questions. I do apologize. So all of our kits are closed system pumps. So you never submerge your tubing in water, okay? You can wipe the outside of it, but you never want to get moisture in your tubing. Anytime moisture gets in the tubing of any pump, it's time. There are some places that advise you to wash that. It's very difficult to get that cleaned out. And if you get milk in your tubing, you can almost guarantee you get milk in your pump. And so if you have milk in your pump and in your tubing, that can grow all kinds of yucky stuff. So I would always recommend, whether you go with Rumble Tuff or not, that you go with a closed system pump. It's more sanitary. You don't have to end up replacing tubing over and over and over again. So as far as suction levels, suction is important to some people. Say, for example, you are a mom that has your nipples pierced, and you are used to that sort of pain. You're probably gonna, and even if you're not a mom with your nipples pierced, I was using that as an example of a mom that, sorry, I'm sitting on a ball, so I'm bouncing. A mom that would want higher suction. And some moms just need higher suction. Our pumps, like back in the day, I used a multi-user pump to relactate with my first child, and I needed higher suction when I was doing that. There are some moms that have very sensitive nipples and need lower suction, because really the pump is not necessarily dragging the milk out of your breast. What it's doing is how would you clean the milk out of the tubing? As far as with our pump company, you will never have milk in your tubing because it's a closed system. So I can't advise on another company's product, but our pumps will never have milk in the tubing. So what you want to do is you first of all, you're not going to know what suction level you need to be using before you have used your pump. That's just not something that you can, like as a lactation consultant, I can look at somebody and say, oh, you need this suction level. It's not true. It's something that you have to experience, and you shouldn't be pumping before the baby's born because it can cause oxytocin release, which also can cause contractions. So you don't want to do that. So what you want to do is you want to get a pump that has a wide suction range so that when you do start pumping, you are able to have access to all of those different levels of suction. So our suction range is from about 70 mmHg to about 270 mmHg double pumping. So it's a hugely wide range. A lot of moms don't even access that higher suction level, but you don't know if you're going to need it until you're there. So you might as well really work toward getting a pump with a huge suction range so that that is not something that keeps you from removing that milk. When the suction is there to cause stimulation on your nipple, as well as to draw milk out. But the most important part is that stimulation on your nipple so that you can have that oxytocin release so that you can start to spray milk like you do when you're breastfeeding. Do you want a pump that is operated on AA batteries? Do you want a pump that has a rechargeable battery? Do you want a pump that plugs into the wall? All of our electric pumps can be used while they're plugged in the wall, and they can also be used by battery, whether it's rechargeable or AA. The rechargeable battery uses the same provides the same consistent suction level that plugging it into the wall. However, when you're using AA batteries, know that it doesn't matter what you're using them with or what pump you're using them with. AA batteries do not provide as much suction or as much power as a wall outlet. So when you are using AA batteries, first of all, they wear out very quickly in every pump, okay? A pump motor requires a lot of energy. So if you're going to use AAs, I would strongly encourage you to use rechargeable ones because you're going to go through a lot of batteries. However, know that it will have a little bit lower suction using battery power. The nice thing about having the ability to use AA batteries is you can use it in case of an emergency. When we think about the hurricanes and the fires and everything that's going on, it's nice to have that backup battery option in case you are fleeing a situation and you don't have access to wall power. And, you know, blessings be to everyone who is in those situations. It's a very difficult time for sure. But it provides a bridge to when you can get to a wall outlet. And if you're ever having any trouble with a breast pump that you're using, no matter what brand it is, and you're seeing the suction level is low and you're using AA batteries, make sure to plug it into the wall and see if that makes things better, because it probably will. So, does using the pump increase your chances of getting mastitis? Good question. If you use a pump properly, it shouldn't, okay? I think that lots of times people are not using the correct flange size, which is something we will discuss in a minute, and not pumping properly. That's why you need to be working with a lactation professional to help you to pump it the best way that you can. And when I'm helping moms with pumping, I give them a few ideas, but I say, the sky's the limit. You do you, figure it out. What works best for you, because, you know, we've got great guidelines, pump for 15 minutes on each side, you know, la, la, la. But everybody's different. Okay. Betsy, you said when to start pumping. That's a really important question that I want to address, but I need to get through my little bullet points over here. Ask me that again towards the end, and I will answer that, because I have some opinion on that. So the size of pump is something to consider. Back in the day, 23 years ago, I gave birth to a sweet little baby boy, and we had a crazy experience with breastfeeding, which is why I'm a lactation consultant now. And I pumped with a big Medela Lactina. It was a great pump, but, you know, like the box was like that big and blue and bulky. It was huge and had this big strap. So I had to lug that with me everywhere I went. And now breast pumps have gotten smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And so, like, this is the average size. This is our Serene Express. This is our Easy Express. They both have the same motor. The difference is this has an LCD screen and this one doesn't. So some people like LCD screens, some people don't. We have our Breeze, which is our one with the rechargeable battery. And I mean, look at the size of that. And we do know that we do provide, or we do offer breast pump bags. But ladies, you do not need your breast pump company to give you a bag, because then whoever's at that breast pump company just made your fashion choice for you. When you got a pump this size, you might as well just stick it in your purse. There's also, like this. This is our Whisper Duo. This is a little teeny tiny pump that will hang on your pants right here, and you can stick in your pocket. And that way, if you have to walk around and pump, it's an easy thing to access. So consider size, you know, and consider, I personally would want a pump that didn't come with a bag. I would want to pick my own bag. I have a thing for antique carpet bags that you find at like Goodwill and stuff. So it's just not my style. So know that they're small enough to fit into whatever, like, and they don't have venting, so they don't get hot. So if you want to stick them in a drawer or something, you can pump while your pump is in the drawer. One other thing that you need to consider, another thing that you need to consider is the expected motor life. Like these pumps, this pump here has an expected motor life of about 2,500 hours. That is a long time. Oh, another thing I failed to mention is that all of our breast pumps have a 2-year warranty. That's because it's the next point, and I shouldn't have said that. Yeah. So I'll pretend like I didn't say that. The expected motor life is important. If you are a mom that doesn't have a plan of breastfeeding a really long time, that's okay. And you don't need to make sure that the pump that you are choosing has a long motor life. If you are a mom who is committed to pumping for a year or two, you're going to want to check the motor life. Some pumps out on the market are in the hundreds of hours, not in the thousands of hours. So that's something to really consider, is the motor life, depending on what you're choosing. And let me tell you, believe that you should breastfeed as long as you want, not as long as somebody else tells you to or not to. It's your body and you get to make the decision. You are allowed to breastfeed as long or as little, as much as you would like, and you are a good mother no matter how you choose to feed your baby. But if you are planning to breastfeed and pump for, lots of moms plan to pump for a year. These pumps will absolutely provide you with a motor that lasts that long, and that's really important. And like I said, the 2-year warranty, some of these insurance companies are giving moms one pump a lifetime, which is what? Something that we should be complaining about and getting changed, because they're not really expensive medical devices and moms need to have probably a pump per pregnancy. However, you can use that coupon code RT Moms to get 50% off of the website. So if your breast pump, or if your insurance company or your WIC office does not provide you with a breast pump, you can get one for half off at our website, rumbletuff.com, RUMBLET.com, and that's all in caps, but it does not have to be in caps. So warranty is something to consider. When you are considering the warranty that is included, every 3 years, if your insurance company replaces a pump every 3 years, probably a 2-year warranty is going to be great for you, because it's highly likely that a pump, with a motor that's going to last this long is going to last. Remember, though, just because the pump motor lasts doesn't mean that you should expect all of the parts to last. Okay, it is important that you change your membrane or valve membranes. Okay, just because your suction level is going down doesn't mean there's something wrong with your pump motor at all. Those parts need to be changed out. I was speaking to a lady the other day that was disgruntled because her pump was losing suction, but she had been using her pump at the highest setting for well over a year and had used the pump over 1,000 times and only changed her membrane valves once. So if you have a loss of suction, change your membrane valves, or if you're using lip valves, or these are sometimes called one-way valves or duckbill valves, whatever, they need to be changed regularly. Okay, how often? I cannot tell you how often. It depends on how you use the pump. Are you supposed to clean the tubing? You can wipe down our tubing. Our tubing is our pumps are closed system kits, have closed system kits. So you just wipe the outside. Okay, so you never want to submerge our tubing in water. Okay, you just wipe the outside, because it's a closed system. There will never get any milk or condensation in there. So back to the membranes, and this is a little off topic, I'm sorry, but people are saying that they're surprised that you need to be changing them out. You absolutely do. On every single pump brand, this is the part that that wears out first. Okay, the guideline is change them once a month. But I mean, if you're a mom that is pumping exclusively like 10 times a day at really high suction, you're going to need to change those more often than that. And if you're a mom that is using that pump, 2 or 3 times a week at really low suction, because it's just like when you want to go out in the evening or something, or the grocery store, you're going to change yours much less often than a mom who's pumping regularly. So how do you know that you need to change your valves? You can watch for once a month, maybe. So take into consideration, if you've been using your pump consistently and doing really well, and you see a drop in suction, or if you see like uneven suctions on each side, and this is for our pump, because our pump has one entrance for the tubing in the back, okay? Just like this. This pump cannot ever, ever, ever produce uneven suction, okay? If there's uneven suction, there's only one hole, so it has to be in your kit. So if you start seeing uneven suction, or you start seeing a reduction in suction, sometimes it'll make the motor sound differently because there's air getting in. So you just watch for those signs. Every single Rumble Tuff pump comes with an extra set, okay? And so if I were you, whenever you go to the website, I would order a couple of extra sets of these to have them with you at all times. You'll have an extra set when you receive your pump, but it's always good to have extras in case they run out quickly. Is there a universal membrane? Please only use the parts from whatever pump company provides you the pump, okay? So if you're using a Rumble Tuff, use Rumble Tuff parts. If you're using Medela, use Medela parts. If you're using Spectra, use Spectra parts. It can change suction levels in a dangerous way because the amount of suction doesn't just come from the pump motor itself. It also comes from the length of the tunnel, the angle in here. It comes from the size of the membrane, the diameter of the tubing. And so if you're using other pump companies' equipment, you can change that and can get yourself into some dangerous situations. And it cancels out your warranty if you use other companies' parts. Now, if you're going to be using like I don't have one with me, the 2-part flanges, you can use different flanges without anything beyond here and down. It's very important that you only use the parts from the company themselves. Okay, and we're getting questions about cleaning and stuff, and I do really think that they're important. I don't have any recommendations on that, and I don't think it's kind of appropriate for me to represent or just bring something out that I really, I don't know of those cleaning solutions, sorry. So warranty, flange sizes, this is huge. Okay, so ladies, let's talk about your boobs. Okay, like we've kind of been nuanced about that because we're talking about breast pumps, but let's talk about the boobs. So a lot of people hear flange fit or breast shield fit or something like that, and they don't know what that means. So let me tell you, you've got your breast, right? And so on your breast, the darker circle that's on there, however big or small it is, that's normal. And to have 2 different size areolas is completely normal, and positioned differently, that's normal, okay? So you have your areola, which is the darker part, and then in the middle of the areola is the part that sticks up and out, and that is your nipple, okay? And so nipples can be 2 different sizes. Nipples can be flat. Nipples can be, if you have a dimple in your nipple, that's really not that big of a deal usually. The concern for inverted nipples, people get told they have inverted nipples all the time, and they really don't. An inverted nipple will go in when it is stimulated rather than coming out. So if you have truly inverted nipples, get with a lactation consultant soon so they can help you. Babies can oftentimes latch on all kinds of different nipples, but that's somebody that will really, like everybody else, benefit from lactation guidance during that time. So what you need to do is, let's pretend like this is your nipple, or this is your breast, okay? So this hole right here, this dark part here, is your nipple. The opaque part is your areola, and this is just your breast that goes back here. When you measure, you're going to go to the side, and you're going to measure the base where your nipple touches your areola, okay? And so that is going to tell you that will be the measurement in millimeters that you need to take. So all flanges are, they give you a millimeter description. So this is 28 millimeters, okay? Every Rebel Tuff pump comes with a 25 millimeter, and the insert, the silicone insert, which takes it down to a 23 millimeter. So they come with two, and that covers most people, okay? However, if you are on either other side of this, you need to know what pump pump company is going to provide you the pump to make sure that you have the flanges that work for you. So if you have a 25 millimeter nipple, you don't want to use a 25 millimeter flange. That's not how it works. If you have a 23 millimeter nipple, you don't want to use a 23 millimeter flange. What you're going to do is you're going to add 3 to 5 millimeters to your measurement, and that is the flange that you're going to want to use, okay? You're going to want to use a little bit up. You don't want a flange that's going to just fit your nipple, because that's going to cause friction and that's going to cause pain, okay? And also, you don't want to use a flange that's too big, because what's going to happen is you're going to have breast tissue that goes down into the canal, and that's going to restrict milk flow and can cause damage as well. I'm going to, oh, you know what? I'll put a link. We have flanges, or if you want to call them breast shields, everything from 13 to 40. And I'm going to put a link down here to our flanges. So it's really important. There are some companies that don't make alternative flange sizes, which is not a big deal if you have if you fit a 24 millimeter flange or a 25 millimeter flange. But if you have nipples that are outside of that range, number one, you're still normal. Nipples are all different sizes. Then you need to make sure that the pump that you are purchasing the company can also provide a flange that fits for you. The pump company is not going to put these alternative sizes in the kit when you order your pump, okay? It is very common you have to order your flanges or your breast shields separately. So that is, let me just put that in there. There's the breast shields. And so you will also see, so we've got everything from, man, I put stuff all over the place. Oh, check this out. This is a 13 millimeters. So a mom with a nipple of like 10 millimeters would use a 13. So that's a very small one. This is a Rumble Tuff Pump and Pal. This mom is about a 40. Okay. And there's no shame in your nipple size. They're your nipples, whatever. So we have Pump and Pals. This is the only thing on the website that you can't get 50% off. On everything else is 50% off with that coupon code. And we do have the silicone Rumble Tuff Pump and Pals. And these, like this is a 28 millimeters. So a mom with like a 25 millimeter nipple would use a 28 millimeter flange. Okay. So that's an extremely important thing to consider. If you have nipples that fall in a super small size or the larger size, it's important that you make sure that the pump that you are ordering, that the company has the flange size that you need. That's a big downfall. There are some companies out on the market that don't provide. I keep cutting off. Am I cutting off? I'm so sorry if you're losing me. I don't know if I put my phone on airplane mode. I apologize if that's happening. So flange sizes. And the last thing, and I will go through and take, good. Oh, good. Maybe that helped. Sorry. So customer service. Okay. Customer service is so important. There are lots of great pumps out on the market that when you go and check reviews on them, get terrible reviews because there's nobody there answering that phone to answer basic questions. And let me tell you, as a customer service rep for a breast pump company, what I realized is a vast majority of people that call in with complaints just don't know how to use the product. And once they get help with it, they are so much happier. So whatever pump brand that you use, make sure that they have good customer service. If you choose Rumble Tuff, know that you can go on our website, rumbletuff.com, if you are using our pumps, and you can schedule appointments with me. I'm an international board certified lactation consultant. That's what they provide me for customer service and for lactation help if you're using our products. And there are lots of other companies that provide that as well. Use us. Use the people who are working for the companies, because we know specifically how to use the pump brand that you're using, and that's so beneficial. Oh, very good question. Is there a specific time that you need to measure your nipples? I think you can get a decent idea before the baby comes. Okay, so it's not, and like if you have a 10 millimeter nipple when the baby's born, you're not going to be a 24 millimeter flange, right? Your nipple might get a little bit larger after baby starts nursing, but it will give you a good idea so that you can start knowing the window of what you need. When do you start pumping? Thank you. Customer support, that's really important. Check, make sure that you have access to good customer support. So when do you start pumping? Realize that when I'm talking about breast pumps, I'm using my customer service hat. And when I'm talking about lactation, I'm using my private lactation certification to do that. So it's lactation answers don't come from the company of Tuff. They come from Renee Davis, lactation consultant. Okay. So it depends on what your plans are. If you are a mom that doesn't plan to return to work, you're going to be able to stay home with your baby, then I wouldn't start pumping for a while. But if you are a mom if you're a mom that has had other babies and had a really great milk supply, then I would just wait. But if you are a mom that has ever had a borderline milk supply, if you're a mom that's returning to work, I always tell those moms when they get home from the hospital, and full-term healthy baby here, okay, full-term healthy baby, then after their milk changes over, like on day 2 or 3, I tell moms to, the first feeding in the morning, nurse on one side, pump off the other at the same time, put that milk away, and then nurse baby on this side. The next feeding, nurse on the opposite side, pump on this side, put that milk away, and nurse. And that's it. So you do each breast one time in a 24-hour period. This will, and it'll help you get a little stash. I don't care about a stash. You don't need a stash, ladies. You need therapy if you think you need a great big stash. You don't need stash. You just need 1 day's worth when you go back to work, because you're going to be pumping when you're at work. So, but this tells your body you want to make just a little bit more milk so that you can set that standard a little bit higher. So when you go back to work, if you take a stress hit on your milk supply, then you're able to take a little bit of a drop because you've set your supply up a little bit higher. But I would never make the general recommendation of pumping after each feeding for moms before you've talked to a lactation consultant. You do not want to have an oversupply. I know that sounds like a great idea, but when you've dealt with a true oversupply, it can be a very difficult thing to deal with. You just want enough to feed your baby, you know? So I was wondering if you could pump and feed. Sure, man, it's your life. You can do what you want. However, make sure that if you are pumping, when you're feeding, that you're not keeping that extra milk from baby if baby needs it. Okay. So you can't just go in and start pumping a little extra off if baby has been breastfeeding and set the tone, because your baby is going to determine how much milk your body produces. Okay. Because baby's going to take milk and your body's going to go, oh yeah, I need to make more. Take milk, need more. So if you all of a sudden start pumping extra, of course, my fire alarm is going off. So if you're starting to pump extra, there's not a fire, don't worry. It's probably just low battery, I apologize. If you're starting to pump extra, then that baby has already set the tone that he needs that extra milk, okay? So you can't just take milk out of his diet like that. I read somewhere that when you nurse, your milk, the first comes out as more of a thirst quencher. You're talking about foremilk and hind milk, okay? So that's not something to worry about unless it's something to worry about, okay? I really wish my husband would turn that fire alarm off. I really apologize. Unless baby has a lactose imbalance, that's not something to worry about, okay? And that's something that's going to be discussed with your doctor if that happens. the vast majority of people never have to worry about fore milk and hind milk. That's, I can't express to you how important it is for you to get good help with breastfeeding. Okay. Get somebody that can partner with you. If you are able to be on the WIC program, get on the WIC program, get a peer counselor or a certified lactation counselor. You don't necessarily need an IBCLC unless you're having some serious lactation issues. Milk supply is a serious lactation issue. Okay. So that's not a simple question. You need a full evaluation if you have milk supply issues. But get someone to partner with you. And as much as I love our friends, and I'm going to have to be wrapping up here soon. I think I'm about getting to the end. I'm going to hop into a booth here and there so we can go over some more questions. But friends are wonderful support, but when you are speaking with somebody in the general population about lactation, what's happening, and this happens with breast pump recommendations all the time. Get this brand because it's the greatest, or get this brand is the greatest. That's not necessarily the thing that's going to work for you. And so whatever breastfeeding advice you are able to get is from that lens, their private experience. So that's why you need to work with a professional. I'm going to put down here, this is the link to the Find an IBCLC through the United States Lactation Consultant Association. They're really, really great. And so I would get, as far as getting in touch with the lactation beyond what the hospital provides, I strongly believe that if you are able to make a prenatal appointment with an international board certified lactation consultant, that you should do that. They can go through and address your concerns and help prepare you for the future and help you get a pumping plan if you need, help you size your flanges, all of that. So yes, I am absolutely, unless your hospital LCs will do that, I absolutely encourage everyone to get an appointment, whether it's in person. I know that that's difficult now with coronavirus, but if you're able to, for sure, absolutely. And you know what, that's what peer counselors do too. Oftentimes they'll help you with all of that. So I think I'm supposed to end at 12:50 and my fire alarm's going off again anyway. So it looks like it's a good time to leave. I'm going to hop back in to, sorry, Gina. Oh, here comes my husband. So please jump into my booth. Remember, I would love to talk to you about breast pumps. I hope that this was helpful. I hope that some of you choose Rumble Tuff. It's a great pump brand, and they really do care about the families that they are serving. So I'll see you over in my booth later, and you families have a great day. Have a great day.